Blog Talk Radio.
These nuts. Welcome to the war room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26 or the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What's good out there, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm that bold Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my brother. Got B. Austin in the building. What up, B?
Wagwan.
Man, it was a crazy NFL Week 1, man. Got real bonkers out on the field. And some of the side stories as well. So we're going to discuss some of those stories from opening week and preview some things to come in week 2. So make sure you keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in on the conversation, sign in right now to the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/thewarroom. Or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 15 minutes after we gamble with Gus and talk college football with Fred Perdue. We're going to open up that Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number, as usual, 323-410-0012. But before we get started, make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, that you check out archived episodes of our show and all of our partner shows on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. You can do that at warroomsports.com or on the War Room Sports mobile app, also on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio. Man, wherever you get your podcast, man, we are more than likely to be there. What up, broski? It's been another crazy week in the U.S. of A. You know, of course, yesterday we had an anniversary of 9/11. You know what, man? Since that time in 2001, somehow, some way, I always find myself flying somewhere on 9/11, but I'm not like afraid of it or anything. I actually think it's probably the safest day of the year to fly at this point because, you know, security's heightened and all that kind of stuff. But I always find myself on an airplane on 9/11. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about it because none of the presidents after that particular president had any scams going on where they would actually hire terrorists to fly in the buildings and run false flag operations in their own country. But I didn't say that, man. Never mind. That's not what we were talking about. My bad. Conspiracy. Death.
Yeah. Well, you know, all the conspiracy theories all of these years later still floating around. You know, a lot of people don't believe the government's account of what happened on that fateful day of September 11th, 2001. Man, that was a scary day, especially, you know, being in Washington, D.C. at the time. I was a few miles away from the Pentagon. We had no clue what was going on. They herded us out into the mall like cats. Like it was crazy, man. It was crazy. But God bless all of those who lost their lives, and, you know, shout out to their families. I hope they're coping all of these years later, but, you know, maybe one day we will find out the 100% truth behind everything that happened that day. Crazy week in sports as well, man. NFL is here. It was a crazy week, man, like we said in the open, and we're going to talk about that stuff in a minute. Before we do, though, of course, we got to let you know that the hot topics that we're about to talk about, including segments by Gus Griffin and Fred Perdue, are brought to you by MyBookie. Real quick, let's talk about how much cash you guys can make betting on sports at MyBookie. Let's talk about it. The NFL is back. Again, Gus Griffin is about to drop some gems on you for week number 2. So if you still haven't checked out my bookie, this is the perfect time to jump into that pool. Lay down some cash on the biggest games in sports. Join us, the War Room, thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. Write that down. Not .com, not .net, mybookie.ag. Tired of getting the runaround when it's time to get paid? Well, that's why we urge you to join MyBookie. Get off those other sites and stop making bets with actual live bookies, the illegal kind that's running around the streets. Then you might not have that problem. Either way, you win, they pay, no hassle. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting, so you can place wagers after the games actually start. So join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit up to $1,000. Just use the promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM. That'll activate your offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, get paid, period. All right, so we got Gus Griffin on the line. We're about to do some gambling with Gus. Gus, what's going on, good brother? Happy week 2.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
How things go for you last week?
Them numbers, Gus. Let's get to them numbers. What's their record?
Well, I started out 1-3, 0-1 on the upset special, but keep hope. I started out 0-5 last year, and I ended up with a winning record. So keep the faith. Stay the course.
All right, gotta stay the course. All right, let's talk about some games coming up in week 2. We got the Arizona Cardinals at the Baltimore Ravens. This is a 13-point line right now. I mean, I know we saw what Baltimore did to those Cleveland Browns, those newly minted Super Bowl champion Cleveland Browns last week. But the Cardinals showed some fight and some resolve in their tie. They don't get any credit for that. What do you think, Gus?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, you're not going to make a living laying double-digit points in the NFL. Last year, double-digit underdogs covered against the spread. They were 19, 14, and 1. And 6 of them, 6 double-digit underdogs, won outright. 2-0 this first week with Washington and Cincinnati covering. So the bottom line is, and that's not an aberration.
I know people, Gus, that bet on that Washington-Philly game was so sick when Washington scored that meaningless touchdown at the end of the game.
That was pretty funny because it's like you figure, okay, well they're gonna at least cover the spread, and then they caught him so quickly. It was like, oh, this might be in danger. I didn't play the game at all, but I mean, it was but that's pretty much the norm. Arizona, Murray in the fourth quarter when they had to let him turn him loose, he figured some things out. They're 2 double-digit underdogs this week. It's the Arizona Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins, and I'm not that damn smart. There's no way in the world I'm taking the Miami Dolphins, even though New England's had trouble down there. I am not taking 18, 19 points, whatever it is now. So I'm going to, and of course, what Baltimore did against Miami, how much do you read into that? Right. I'm going to go with Arizona plus the 13.
Okay. All right, so we got the Chiefs. This is just the Chiefs? With the over-under?
Just the single, single over.
This is the Chiefs with their over-under point total being 30. I think most people might take it a certain way, but let's see what you say. Over-under 30 for the Chiefs.
I'm taking that over 30. They averaged 37 against them last year. I didn't see anything against Jacksonville that indicates that Chiefs' offense has done anything different. They're just taking up where they left off. Jacksonville has a better defense than the Raiders. I'm taking the Chiefs over.
And surprise, you got Sammy Watkins out there balling when Tyreek Hill goes down.
Yeah.
Sammy's usually the one going down. All right, so, I think, really, give me 16 weeks of Chiefs over under 30, and I might just take that bet every week, take my chances. You got the Saints at the Rams, rematch of the much controversial NFC Championship game. This line is at 2.5. What you doing?
I'm taking the Saints plus the 2.5. If there was ever a definition of a revenge game, this is it. I mean, the Saints have got to be thinking, you got our conference championship trophy, and I don't know that they would have beaten New England, but I guarantee you they wouldn't have got kept out of the end zone the whole downgoing game.
Yeah.
So
they wouldn't have been.
So I'm sure the Saints
shutout.
are. Yeah, they wouldn't have been like that. So I'm taking the Saints. That's going to be one of my upset specials as well. Saints plus 2.5, Saints to win.
All right, and we got another. We got a over under here. It's the Bills versus the Giants, the battle for New York, battle for the state, and the over under is 43.5. Where you going?
I'm taking the under. The Bills have a very good defense. The Giants have no offensive option other than, they got one of the greatest offensive options in the league, but that's all they have in Saquon Barkley. So that spells limited possessions for the Giants, even if they did have any weapons, which they really don't outside. And the Bills, the Bills have a good defense. I see a 13-10, 2017 game max.
Okay, sounds about right. And last but not least, we have the Bears visiting Denver to face the Broncos. That line is 2.5. Where are you going?
I'm taking the Broncos plus the 2.5. Flacco, that you had to watch that game. He didn't get a lot of help that last week. He wasn't great, but he didn't get a lot. He had a touchdown pass dropped in the end zone, and just a lot of different things. And it's a new offense, so I expect them to get a little better offensively. They're never going to remind us of the Chiefs, but I expect them to get a little better. They're getting back home. It's a hard place to play, and it blew my mind how much Trubisky seemed to regress. He really made strides last year, and against a Packer defense that really has never – when was the last time the Packers defense was of note? And 3 points, that just doesn't convince me that they're ready to really get up to a good start. So I'm taking the Broncos plus the 2.5 and to win. That's my second upset special.
Yeah, the Broncos would have a home game this week. I just left Denver, was there since Saturday, and there was nothing to do sports-wise. The Rockies were in town, but I wanted to see the Broncos. Either way. All right, Gus, we'll see how it goes this week. Hope we can make a quick turnaround so we don't have to make it dramatic at the end of the season. So let's turn this around quickly and get up over 500. All right, so we will talk to you next week.
All right. Latest column is out on your site now. 5 things to take away from the Antonio Brown drama.
All right, make sure you guys go read that. That's at warroomsports.com. I know everybody out there is heavily embroiled into this Antonio Brown saga that we have going on. I know Gus, as a Steelers fan, and we got Skyview in the chat room, a Raiders fan. I'm pretty sure y'all are pretty happy to have that drama away from your franchise. Maybe not Skyview. They were looking forward to a little Antonio Brown, and then it just the floor fell from beneath everybody. But at some point when this keeps going on, he'll probably be in the same boat as you, Gus. Like, yeah, I'm glad we got him out of here. All right, so we'll talk to you next week, man.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, you too. Gus Griffin, everybody. Go get your bets in. All right. So before we move on to some stuff that, we have to talk about, a.k.a. the Antonio Brown saga itself, we're going to talk a little college football. We got the homie Fred Perdue on the line to give us the latest and greatest in the world of college football. Fred, what's going on, good brother? You're in the war room.
Fellas, what's going on, man? It's been a minute.
Nothing much, man.
Fred, what's happening? Zach Randolph can't get left.
So I'll never get over it.
You know they ain't going to ever let you, Fred. All right, so look, man, NFL is going down. College football is going down. Fred is like a kid in a candy store. So we're going to talk a few minutes about what's going on in college football. And, from this point on, you guys also make sure you go to warroomsports.com and check out every episode of Quick Slants, college football show where Fred gets way more in depth on his analysis of college football. But right now, Fred, we want to ask you about this Tom Herman situation. He and his wife were trolled by LSU fans. I think I even read that his wife was put into Twitter jail for a night or so. What's the deal with this situation?
Yeah, I mean, Tom Herman, his phone number got out there. You always know what happens when trolling fans get a hold of an opposing team's coaches, player, whatever, phone number. You know, they're going to dial, and they're going to continue to dial. Well, his wife decided to start speaking Spanish, and we know we know the America we live in. So they started. Those same fans started saying we speak English in this country, and she just she recorded it and it got put on social media, and then she got put in Twitter jail. Then she got out and she posted it, and she just blocked the number because the number is from the people calling, or the subject matter here. I mean, she was putting numbers out there. She was exposing people, even though there were no names.
All right, that's weird. Like, it's crazy that she would be penalized for any of this, but hey, no telling what she actually said. Get to speaking Spanish on you, she might have put roots on people. Anyway, so I hear that there's a new player in this race for a playoff spot. What team is opening eyes to where, you know, people are excited about a new contender here?
Yeah, so I watched that LSU-Texas game, and way back last year, Texas's quarterback Sam Ehlinger said that Texas was back, and I said all offseason, I said, there is going to be a bullseye that is so big on Texas' chest that they're not going to be able to survive it. That team isn't good enough yet. To say Texas is back is to, you know, put the Vince Youngs and Colt McCoys, bring those ghosts back up, and I'm not ready to bring those ghosts back up. Well, they also claim that they're DBU, and LSU came in and showed.
LSU had a problem with that, right?
Yeah, they had a problem with that.
It was like, F y'all talking about.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of DBU, I think of guys like Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. I think of Morris Claiborne, even though he wasn't great in the NFL, he was really good in college. And right now, and even Greedy Williams coming out this year, Grant Delpit there now, even Jamal Adams. I mean, there's some really good DBs coming out of LSU, and it seems like every year they have some really good guys. Well, they got 4 there now, so be ready for those guys. But the player, it's not necessarily the defensive side. We always know LSU plays great defense. But the offense, I was shocked, utterly shocked, that 400 yards of offense came from an LSU quarterback. Albeit he was a transfer from Ohio State and Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow sliced and diced. He looked like the second coming of my guy Tom Brady. And I'm sitting here like, what in the world? He's not throwing dink and dunk passes. He's throwing 20, 30 yards downfield. I mean, this
Fred always got to find a way, no matter what we talk about, to bring up Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
He's LSU.
Always got
the second coming of Demarcus Russell is back.
I hope not, because if it is, no. Joe Burrows, he looks like he could be a very capable player. I want to see more, but I could see him being a top 100 type of player. He has the arm strength. He can make all the throws. I think he had to get used to the offense. And now that they have receivers, I mean, they have 2 top 5 receivers out of their recruiting classes. So they're going to be very tough to stop. I look forward to seeing LSU. I mean, just think 5-10 years ago, if this was what Les Miles had with those great defenses. This team could be a title contender. I mean, but he'd rather eat grass and run with a fullback. So, hey.
All right, we'll see. All right, so
LSU,
for everybody out there who are in our college pick'em group trying to beat Fred, we're going to do a few. Well, Fred's not going to give you his picks. He's just going to give you a little bit of knowledge on the game. So he's going to drop a few gems. So if you read in between the lines and you listen and you pay attention, you might catch who you should be placing as the winner in your college pick'em this week. So we're going to do 3 games. Let's start with Stanford versus UCF.
A game that I will hopefully be in attendance for if there's not another tropical storm coming through. But yeah, I expect to be in attendance for this one. I was actually really amped up for this one because Stanford has one of the top left tackles in the country who should be a top 15 pick or so in Walker Little, but he's out for the season now with injuries. So, and then you have KJ Costello, who was also considered to be at least a top 100 pick. If he had a decent season, he's coming back from multiple concussions in one game. So this wins a lot of. Yeah, those are 2 things you definitely don't want.
How that happened? 2 and 3 times in one game? That sounds like 1974.
Yeah, I mean, this was he took a really nasty shot against Northwestern in week 1, and he was out against USC, but it just you know how we are. We have to go back in the game. You have to go back.
Like, tell the truth.
So, yeah, I'm the truth. Yeah, for real.
Tell the truth.
With this,
tell the truth.
Wait, Fred, this is Stanford. This is a Stanford guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to the NFL. He ain't wasting that brain. He retiring quick.
Hey, he retiring too? Okay, I got you. No Andrew Luck. I got you. But UCF, they have a lot of talent, skill positions. Quarterback's been their weak spot, and that's only because of injuries. Whether it was Mackenzie Milton and the leg injury last year, that was really gruesome. Mack at quarterback as well. He dislocated his ankle in the off season, and so Brandon Wimbush, the Notre Dame transfer, is at the helm now. I haven't really been all that impressed with those guys, but with UCF, so I'm interested to see if the comparison of styles is the modern age spread offense versus the power run game, multiple tight ends, and power running backs against a smaller school. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how this matchup goes. I'm not really sure where I'm gonna let my pick go yet. I haven't actually. I left that one blank. Maybe up until game time.
All right. Well, let's talk about Bama, Roll Tide, versus South Carolina.
Well, there's an interesting story in all of this one. I understand. I know South Carolina's at home, but Alabama has had an issue with their fans leaving games early, and so they're actually they have an app for fans, for their students to get tickets. Believe it or not, student tickets are only about $10, but must be nice, especially when your tickets run about $200 a ticket. So, but the thing is, their students are leaving early, so they put a tracker into the app that they use, and it accrues points for as long as you're at the game, and as long as your location services are on. So they're tracking fans, making sure they're not leaving. If you leave early, you will not get tickets to any game or SEC title or playoff games as far as the students are concerned. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Nick Saban, he tripping. Nick Saban, it's like, dude, you're up 62-10. I got other things to do.
With it.
Right. Like, these dudes ain't got homework to do. Like, yeah, you have 100 points. Like, why do I need to sit in here until the game is over? That's crazy. I guess they're like, look, we're on television every week. We can't have empty seats. I don't care how, what point of the game it is. Exactly. We can't show empty seats. Yeah, that's kind of weird. And of course, again, if you look at it from differing perspectives, one could come up with one perspective like we just kind of did and say, okay, they don't really care about the student part, and they want to call their football players student athletes, but you have actual students in here who are like, okay, this is a blowout. Let me go spend my time elsewhere. Whether they're really going to, do something productive or not, you still have to have it. It has to be a part of their thinking. Let these people go and do what they have to do. That's kind of weird to me.
But yeah, definitely. For this game in particular, it is it's at South Carolina, but South Carolina, their quarterback Jake Bentley, he's out for the season, so this is going to be a rough one for South Carolina.
Ass whooping.
Tua, yeah,
South Carolina fans going to leave early.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You know how I am with these picks. Whenever there's an Alabama sighting, that's your one free token. Take it just take it. That you're already 1 for 10 already. So go ahead and get that one. Alabama's going to destroy this team. Destroy South Carolina. Will Muschamp might be on the hot seat in a couple of years if he doesn't actually do anything with this talent he has. I mean, you've had Deebo Samuel and the likes of Justice Cunningham and others. So I mean, you got to do something with the talent. So
I'm sick of Alabama, man.
Why?
I'm sick of.
For what? Why?
You're
about to get a really good quarterback out of him.
Yeah. Who? Tia Tagovailoa.
Yeah, that Tua guy. Yeah. Who can make every single throw, and as long as he stays healthy.
No, he's nice. He's nice. There's no denying that he is nice. I'm tired of Alabama. I'm tired of Alabama as a state. I'm tired of Jeff Sessions. I'm tired of Roll Damn Tide, man. I'm tired.
As a state now, a crew and a record label. All right, so last but not least, we got Florida State versus Virginia.
Florida State they lost to Boise State. I called that one. I had a little bit of inside knowledge about this one, that Boise State had a 4-star quarterback as a freshman that was the best recruit as far as quarterbacks are concerned, better than Kellen Moore. And we know how good Kellen Moore was. I got a good feeling if this cat does what he needs, Hank Bachmeier does what he needs to do. That doesn't even sound like a quarterback, but it is. If he does everything he needs to do over the next 4 years, he's going to break every single record Kellen Moore set there at Boise State. I can't promise any championships, Big Blue, but hey. But Florida State lost to Boise State, and then they turned around and almost lost to it. If it hadn't been for that pesky kicker, why do we lead games to kickers?
How did they almost lose to Duke? Duke can't beat Duke on a football field.
Hey, I mean, but when ULM, man, I mean, I don't know what it is about Florida State. No, actually, I do know what it is. They take their foot off the gas, and I've never understood coaches that, we're up 35-17 and we're going to take our foot off the gas and be nice to these little schools because we paid them to come take a L.
Shout out to Andy. Shout out to Fat Andy Reid. Shout out to Andy.
Bang. Bang, bang. But Cam Akers is going to be a running back you're going to want to watch. He played quarterback in high school out of necessity, but he was the number 1 running back out of high school 3 years ago. He's now going to be – he's probably a top 5 running back right now. The only thing I need to see more from him is once he gets out in the open field, I need to see some breakaway speed. He does not finish runs a lot of times, but I can understand you're taking a ton of hits. The defense isn't that great. On the other end, Virginia, Bryce Hall at corner is probably my number 1 corner going into this year. I see a little bit of Darrelle Revis in him. If you haven't seen, please go watch. Very technically sound, bit of a ball hawk. And you know how I feel about corners. It's all technique. You can have all the athleticism you want, but if you can be Trey Waynes all you want, but if you have no technique, it doesn't matter. Shots fired. But Bryce Hall.
Trey Waynes worked from Athletic Duke.
I mean, he was athletic as hell, but he couldn't cover. Still can't cover.
He came to the combine and ran a 4 flat and put up 225, $1 million and every quarterback in the world, including guys that wouldn't even be on a roster, was looking. Yeah, we going after him. How was he so trapped? Never mind. Going back.
Leave it alone. Hey man, when your feet aren't good, when you don't have what we call sweet feet, it don't matter. It don't matter. But Bryce Hall, don't look his way. He'll pick you off. He can also play a little bit of deep safety if you need him to. Florida State, they have a receiver by the name of Tamari and Terry out of Armwood, Florida. Seffner, Florida. He is a carbon copy of Josh Gordon without the weed and the alcohol. He will beat you deep. He can catch a screen and take it 80. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it. I can't wait until he gets to an NFL near me. I don't care what team he's on. He's gonna be solid. And Asante Samuel Jr. Yes, I said Asante Samuel Jr. on the defensive side at corner. Pretty good cat. Pretty good. Reminds me a lot of him.
He's tough. He is tough.
So I still blame his pops for not completing the 19-0. If you're the best corner in football, a football should never hit you in the face and you drop it. Nonetheless, this is going to be a very good game, and this is actually a bit of a throwback rivalry from the 90s. Virginia and Florida State always used to go at it. So this one, Virginia wins this one. They had to take full control of the Coastal and pretty much put Florida State's hopes of any kind of a title run in the ACC to bed. Very interesting game.
All right, and there you have it, Fred. Let everybody know where they can catch you this weekend on social media so they can talk trash to you about college football.
Right now, you can talk all the trash you want to me about college football, but on Sundays, I'm undefeated. I'll leave that alone. But you can catch me on Twitter.
That's like seven Patriot references, and we let you live. Josh Gordon.
Tom
Brady. I
Brady.
didn't even touch on AB, man. You want me to go there too?
Come on, man. Relax.
It's okay. We'll see y'all in the Super Bowl. We'll see y'all later on in the season. I got y'all. I got something for y'all later. But you can catch me on Twitter, Fred Purdue CFB, talking a lot of college football. If I'm not at a college football stadium near you, I will definitely be checking out all the games and kind of giving my thoughts throughout the day.
All right, and for all you college football fans, you can also catch Fred on Quick Slants. That is at the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Just go to warroomsports.com, click on the podcast network, and on the right side menu, just click on Quick Slants. And if you're an NFL fan, you can catch Fred on Cover 2 by taking the same path. Just when you get to the menu, just click Cover 2. You can hear all the archive episodes of that. All right, Fred. We will talk to you next week, good brother.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Fred Purdue, college football guru. All right, man. So we're gonna go to the phone lines in just a second, so everybody holds their horse. But we definitely gotta, spark this conversation off, man. Antonio Brown has had. I mean, we know about the summer that he had, with the feet and the helmet and the appeal for the helmet and just all the problems he caused in Raiders training camp this season. It all finally came to a head last week after an emotional apology to the team. Some more stuff came out. The Raiders ended up releasing him. He was swooped upon and picked up by you know who, because everybody in the free world who's ever watched an NFL football game called it. The Patriots came in, scooped him up, gave him a 1-year deal that could net him up to $15 million. He was all set to possibly make an appearance for them in week 2, which he still may do. But on Tuesday, there was an accusation filed in civil court against him by a former trainer that claimed that he sexually assaulted her twice and raped her once in 2018. So the Antonio Brown saga continues. Did you hear? Have you read up on this story, B?
I have not read up on it. I have heard the allegations. I am aware. I have such a disdain for dude that I didn't want my bias to unduly convict them of something that we don't know the details about. I put him right above the man I call Funny Gayweather, a.k.a. Floyd Mayweather. Antonio Brown is falling to that level with me.
Wow.
But
all right, well, let me give you some details. Like I said, in Tuesday in the Southern District of Florida, in a civil lawsuit filed that day, he was accused of exploitation, sexual assault, and rape. The plaintiff is 28-year-old Brittany Taylor, whom Antonio Brown knows from his Central Michigan days. She was a gymnast. Now she's a trainer. The details, supposedly they were friends back in the day. They lost touch because Antonio Brown tried to make it more than just a friendship. This is her side. This is what she said, because she's supposed to be really steadfast in her religion and all of that kind of stuff. So they lost touch. He said once he became a Steeler, he reached out to her when he heard that she opened, a training business. Now, his account of that was she reached back out to him and asked him for $1.6 million to help her get her business off the ground. Now, that accusation flew because, of course, since this was filed in civil court and not, charges weren't pressed against him, his agent and his lawyers are trying to basically paint this as a money grab, which by some of the details, it's hard to rule that out completely, but it's also, looking at some of the things that went down. There were some emails by Antonio Brown that came out that basically copped to some of the stuff she said. It didn't say anything necessarily about a rape, but he bragged about, because one of the stories she told, one of the sexual assault stories, was about him ejaculating on her back, and she didn't know about it. They were friends. She claimed they had a brother-sister relationship, so she's laying around. So apparently this guy gets behind her, jerks off, ejaculates on her back, and she didn't realize it until she felt the semen. Why are you laughing, man? Felt it soak through her clothes. She realized something had happened. Now, if you go look at this email,
what had happened?
He kind of bragged about doing that. But, like I said, other than that particular part, which would equate to sexual assault, she said that he forcibly raped her in 2018. And, of course, none of his emails or social media messages or anything cop to anything of that nature. This is crazy, man. I mean, the timing of it is crazy. He just got out of, his contract with the Raiders. He got picked up by the contender, and then it just seems like trouble just keeps finding him. You want to take some calls on this real quick? See what the people think out there?
I think we're going to have to take some calls on this, but let me say this. There's big T truth and there's little T truth. Now, little T truth is just basically what you believe in your heart to be the truth. Big T truth is facts. Facts, like what is truly fact, not what these folks have turned into an urban colloquialism, but true fact, like what is actual. There's a possibility that everything being said is true. It's possible that he is guilty of what he is being accused of. It's possible that this young lady is trying to capitalize and exploit it. Maybe she doesn't value herself enough to believe that if she truly was a victim, that she'll get what she wants or needs out of it in criminal court, and she'd rather convert it to a money grab. But that doesn't mean that he's innocent, and that doesn't mean that she's right. That doesn't mean that she's right for what she's doing in terms of response. But I don't absolve him completely. We just don't know the facts.
Right.
We don't know the facts.
And some videos have surfaced with them, you know, I guess they were maybe like Instagram videos or something with them looking buddy, and some people describe it as looking like a couple on social media. But like I said, a lot of people actually post that stuff and make judgments without even trying to know all of the facts, because people, I mean, she had already described their relationship as like a brother-sister relationship prior to any of those videos coming out. So if somebody says that and I see these particular videos, I can be like, I can see that. You know what I'm saying? I can see that being the relationship. But people who never took the time to actually read what, you know, the person said anyway, their first look is, well, look how close they look on the video. She's lying, this and that.
I
don't know if she's lying. I don't know if she's telling the truth. But what people are using against her, it's really, you know, it's really uncircumstantial, because you can't make a judgment from the stuff that people choose to make judgments from. And It seems like she's already covered herself for that anyway. For like, if anybody has any evidence of them being buddy, like, she has already explained that she had what she thought was a brother-sister relationship with him until the sexual assault started. Now, the only thing
he scooted on her back.
But the only thing, you know what I'm saying, that I think you can question, I guess not the only thing, but the only thing you can question, even without full detail, or even if you take into account what she's already explained, it's kind of like, okay, if he sexually assaulted you before, then how are you around him another 2 times for it to happen again?
Dev, I learned a lot about the psychology, the pathology, and the trauma that goes into being a victim of sexual assault and rape. And I don't even ask those type of questions no more, man. I don't even ask, because when you start to really explore in your personal life and sphere, and you have women tell you, oh yeah, this happened to me, or this is my reality. It's like, I'm so naive as to the fact that it actually happens, and B, how they respond and cope to it. It's like, we know we're already going to run into the group of people, and it isn't just men, but the group of people that are going to say, well, she's lying because she didn't do this, this, and this in terms of what my steps are for how you should respond to being victimized in that manner. So she didn't go to the cops, and she didn't do a rape kit, so she's lying, right? When in truth, like, there's so many rapes that even go unreported, or rapes that occur in marriages. Whoa, yeah, peep that. So I don't even judge or gauge, like, a situation based on a surface perspective of a woman or man's response to being sexually assaulted. It's like, just because she went the way she went with it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And I'm not blaming him or saying he did it. I don't know. But we can't discount her accusation because she chose not to pursue criminal action against him. So
definitely. All right, so we got Tobias waiting on the line, calling from Arizona. Tobias, what's going on, man? Roll Tide.
All right, hold on. One, that light-skinned dude, Fred, I know he be talking about. We heard the same thing about LSU offense. Zach Mettenberger was slinging the ball around to Odell and Jarvis Landry, and they got their asses wore out of Alabama. They'll get their asses wore out again this year in November. We heard this song over and over again. But, here's the thing. One other thing also. Before I get on AB, let the elephant in the room. Hey, with a draft full of quarterbacks, it's time for us to look at one. Because Jameis made Jimmy G look good this past week. I was right about Jimmy G, by the way. But anyway, it's like the one thing about football that goes unstated. I don't know if y'all watched the game last week. I know it's pretty brutal. Your kids can't watch it. It was that ugly. The Buccaneers had 2 touchdown passes called from holding penalties. You got one cornerback with three holding or pass interference penalties from one cornerback. Your supposed stud tight end dropped the easy pass with an interception, and your left tackle is a turnstile, but you gave him $15 million a year. And then you got a quarterback throwing loft screen passes was not open. So the thing is, it's a lack of attention to detail on this team. And like I use the Eagles as an example. One of those interceptions Jameis threw, Bruce Arians said the running back ran the wrong route. On the good teams, how often do you see these good teams have people run bad routes all the time or all those miscues? That's a problem. And I think it's time for a fresh start because, hey, the fans turned on him. The media making him the butt of jokes. And this dude don't have no pride to come out today after being the butt of jokes and every fan now they turn on him. He's really done. I mean, he ain't got no heart.
I turned on him two seasons ago, Tobias. And ever since since Dre and Michelle said no to her cookies, he ain't been the same, man. He ain't been the same.
Yeah. And see, and the thing is, what I was looking at, and I was like, man, those picks are bad. I think the fumbles are worse. But it's ironic that he and Cam Newton threw the exact same amount of interceptions in the past 3 or 4 years. but
no, it's not.
We get to see them go head to head.
Yeah, and you know, and I think that the attention to detail thing is an organizational thing. You got a GM that haven't had a winning record. Like it was 1-9-7 season, Jameis rookie second year. But other seasons, they've been having top 5 picks. And he's got a contract extension. Even though he probably got 5 first-round draftable quarterbacks come out, they'll probably pick a damn safety. Know how they are. But y'all talking about AB, right?
Yep.
Like my lady, we were having lunch yesterday, and I don't know why she asked me to lunch. I'm paying for it, but hey, you know. But before I say that, I want to say FB Austin talking smack about Alabama and Roll Tide football. They didn't think I forgot either. But anyway, but the thing is with AB, like my lady, she brought up something. She was like, if all she wanted was $75,000, why did he settle? She was like, does he even have money? Because $75,000, dudes would have made that go away real quick. And it's just my opinion on that. My other opinion is, dude, what kind of freakazoid this guy was getting off during the word? Praise and worship session, he getting off. I'm like, what kind of freakazoid this guy? But the problem is, in our society, it's a believe all women society, or you believe that she's lying society. It's never a wait till the facts come out. And I believe I'm the type of person, I don't pass judgment until the facts come out. But I'm also the type of person that, like, you shouldn't be suspending people anyway until they were proven in a court of law they did it. Because like, you put him on like exempt list, he's still suspended technically. Meaning
right,
if he hasn't been sent into this country, he can't hit it.
That's what could happen to him. No, I'm saying that's what could happen to him. Roger Goodell could decide to put him on the commissioner's exempt list, which is still paid leave, but, you know, like you said, it's just as good as a suspension because
and what if he's
people,
innocent?
They want to play.
Yes, and what if he's innocent? Because every other job out there, people still go to work. Heck, you got cops that kill black kids in the street unarmed. They still going to work. You know? And so, one, the commissioner should not be in this, the whole punishment thing. But I blame that on the players because they rather smoke weed and have less practices than worrying about stuff like this and mess up their money. But I can't say if he was wrong or not, because when it comes to consent, it's about what that party feels, male or female. Where if she believes he did anything without consent, they have to prove it. It's like it depends on the person. Also, my lady was like, that would happen to her. She would have like pressed charges worry about him going to jail, damn the settlement, but everybody's different. So I don't know, but all I can speak on the football aspect is that he should still play. But also at the same time, I mean, y'all talk about the Raiders also. Thing is, can we stop having these woke conspiracies also, guys? Every time a black person gets on, it's on woke conspiracy thing. He did not plan his exit to the Patriots. He was just an asshole, for lack of a better word. That's all it was.
I don't believe that either. I just think, especially when they showed the video of him supposedly finding out and he's saying they freed me, I think that whole thing was an act just to save face because nobody's happy when you just lose $30 million. I mean, you got maybe $22 million of it back, but nobody's going to run around their backyard screaming they freed me when you just lost $30 million. So I think it was just,
ain't happy.
Right. I just think it was a moment to save face. I don't think there was any conspiracy to get to the Patriots. I mean, but just like every fan out there knew, I guess he did probably know that if anything did happen as far as him getting released, there could be a possibility because the Patriots always try to swoop in and because they feel, we can control the people that you can't control because of the Patriot way. So,
the one thing also is I don't think he's going to see that second year because I watched that press conference. Belichick was hot, was like madder than a hornet, man. He was hotter than a hornet. He kept having to answer those questions about him. The dude ain't been there a week. And he ain't going to be there next year.
Belichick doesn't like to answer questions about football, so I know this was even...
He don't feel like talking about his kids, so he already know. But see, the thing is, I don't care what nobody say. You just talking about not playing for the Raiders to contender, dude. You got $30 million guaranteed. That is money you're never going to get back. And because the Patriots aren't giving that second year, and Drew Rosenhaus was probably PO right now, because I think that was a $900,000 check that was coming his way, and that Antonio Brown blew by acting a fool. Because all you had to do was just play that first game and been cool. Then he had the food in because you got your money. But can I say this before I run? I know you got other people. Can I say this before I run? Before I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Odell, in a couple of weeks, wear that watch around your boy Talib. He be seeing Talib in a couple of weeks. And Talib snatching that watch. Ask Crabtree.
No doubt. All right, man.
Peace out, guys.
We'll talk to you next week. All right, we're going to go to Tony out in San Diego. He wants to talk a little AB as well. Tony, welcome to the War Room. Tony, you there?
Tony. Tony Roney.
I know he's been waiting for a minute, so we'll get back to him.
Tony don't get the tenderoni.
We'll try him again in a few minutes. Yeah, I mean, but no, good points are brought up by all. Like it's very difficult. The burden of proof in situations like this when there was only two people there. The burden of proof is very difficult because once you go to trial, whether it's civil or criminal, since no one was there to prove this, they're just going to go at the opposite party's background. So if there's anything in your background, anything whatsoever that makes it look like, she's greedy or she's all about money, they're going to play that up to the point where, it's pretty much easy these days to get into the minds of the masses, get into the minds of jurors, even though you give them instructions on what to think about and, what they need to pay attention to. A lot of lawyers get paid the big bucks because they know exactly how to manipulate a jury and make them think what they want to think. So, yeah, if it does go to that, they're going to try to destroy her credibility, which when there's no proof on either side, that's really all you have left to do. But in my 50 voice, yeah, whatever they said he did that. I don't know. We'll see. Let's check the phone line again, see if we got Tony back from San Diego.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Tony,
sorry
can you hear me?
Guys.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
we can't see you earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I know you wanted to talk about this Antonio Brown thing. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, bear with me. I'm going to close my office door here so I can get into it. So question, like one thing I don't like is I understand the idea about the psyche of a woman, and I can't imagine what they go through. But I do have 4 daughters and a wife, and I've studied psychology as well. I just find it all too coincidental that this woman they had 3 separate encounters. I mean, come on now. At what point in time do you just call bullshit? I mean, if that would have happened to the women that are that do get raped, typically what they do is they start talking. They'll call the police. They'll report it to somebody. Something like that. I mean, other than this, having this woman just typically what they do is can you guys hear me?
I think you turn your radio down.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like it's something that's legitimate. I think she's just looking. She's money hungry and she's looking for money. I don't know.
Tony, you got to turn. Are you? If you're listening to this stuff, you got to turn it down. We can hear you.
You guys hear me?
Barely. We can hear like the radio in the
really
background.
trying to take advantage of the situation. And then I just.
All right, so we can't hear you, but man, I really wanted to get into that, but I couldn't hear anything Tony was saying. Sound like you need to turn the radio or computer or something down in the background.
Turn your speakers down.
No, I mean, so he brought up the same point that I brought up, but like I said, at the same time, like it is difficult to get into the psyche of individual people. Like we know what we think we're supposed to do, or what women are supposed to do, or in certain situations like that. But I mean, we've seen things time and time again. Not even with just sexual assault, with domestic violence and things like that. Somebody gets hit, and people say, "Well, I would have just left." But everybody who's not in the situation, make it sound easier than it probably is, especially if she thinks she has a friend that that's so close that okay, he did something silly, maybe I can forgive him. Okay, boom, he does something silly again, maybe I can forgive him. Third time, all right, you just straight up raped me this time. If this is all the truth, and maybe that's the part that's just not forgivable.
I get it, and I'm with you. We've had conversations with regards to bullying. Like bullying exists, but neither one of us wrap our minds around how it's possible to get bullied. Because if you try and bully me, I just punch you in the face, and I invite you to come back because I enjoyed punching you in the face. Like that was fun, so let's go. Like that's a joy. So I don't understand but I've had to step outside of my own experiences and perspectives and garner some empathy to understand how other people and in this case it's almost like reverse empathy, because exactly what I would do, I can't assign that to another person's behavioral response to trauma, and it's like I can't possibly know what a woman would or a man, because I don't like making rape just about women, because plenty of dudes that get their cheeks bust up in the big house. So I can't make it just about women. I mean, I can't understand the response to that, so I don't want to automatically assume that because she didn't do what I think would be the reasonable thing or reasonable response, I can't understand the trauma. So I don't think it's fair to take the position of this is, she's suspect because of this or that. Now, granted, the money grab, I always look at people's character suspect when they're dealing with athletes, but that has nothing to do with just rape in itself. I think everybody coming at an athlete is coming at them, or a celebrity for that matter, coming at them for the hustle.
Listen, babe, before you even go on that point, I was reminded, by Neil and Skyview in the chat room, like her lawsuit, she's only looking for $75,000. I mean, we say only, $75,000 to a lot of people is a lot of money, but when dude is worth millions. You know what I'm saying? You have a civil lawsuit. So that's one thing for the people who are saying like, oh, this is just a money grab. Somebody who's an entrepreneur herself, I'm pretty sure she understands, the value or lack thereof of $75,000. So that kind of makes me think even deeper, like, what are her real motives? Is it just maybe not to put him in jail, but to embarrass him?
Maybe she got tired of his. Maybe she got tired of his hairstyle, man. the blonde mustache down there. She just wanted him to lose his job so he's not on TV all the time. I don't know, but that is an interesting twist to this plot. That as much as people are out there taking sides, as the general public likes to do, the ones who are taking AB's side are basically calling her gold digger, money grab, this and that. But that's just not a lot of money. Most of the time when you sue for a figure, you come in somewhere well beneath that. So if she really wanted $75K, she could have sued him for like $300K and maybe came out with something like that. So it's definitely a weird figure, especially when the narrative is starting to form that she's a gold digger. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got the homie Naj calling in from Georgia. Naj,
hey man, bro, look, man. I
with your man AB, man.
Well, before we do that, I tried to get the SEC to shut y'all down years ago for something Jimmy said. Now we had the man say the big cheeks and the big house. Sir, you cannot do that. Cheek busting? You can't do that on radio, HBO, After Dark, Cinemax. Y'all be going hard, man.
Yeah,
I was told that is the official term for that. Jimmy Cheek Bust. So I apologize if I'm
The funny thing is,
I laughing like a crazy person listening to y'all.
I didn't realize he said it because they, some dudes just go hard like that so much. I've been tuning them out, man. What do you think about this AB situation, man? AB has had a hell of a week.
Right. That's the other funny part about this. Like, we got such bad sports reporting that they spent all summer covering these silly things that we turned into this soap opera style of reporting. And then something real comes out, and it's like, damn, now we're equating all that silly stuff next to something that's like kind of huge, whether you agree or disagree, or whether you think it's true or untrue. You know what I'm saying?
And his helmet.
I'm already biased. I already hate dude because he's a noodle. So now it's hard for me to even look at him being. Yeah, I don't like. He's an ignoramus, completely.
Yeah. Right, and that makes it hard to even look at the story or give him any type of objectivity. Overall, we got to say this: he's wrong. No matter how this turns out, he's wrong in this action. He took a relationship that should have been strictly business and allowed it to cross into other boundaries. Now, however you want to say that it went, because we don't know, we're just going by their words. However it went, no matter what, that's a disaster. Once you cross that line, you've made that mistake. And you damn sure ain't going to recover by firing that person or not keeping their services on. Like, things can go really bad, which is why you don't mix those type of business relationships. So that's that's thing number one. Thing number two, it's like, look, I'm not qualified to adjudicate sexual assault, rape, or any other thing. And neither is Roger Goodell. So when I hear that, well, she's going to meet with the NFL, like, did nobody vote for y'all?
Like
y'all
for what?
Not qualified to handle stuff like this. Like, stop stepping into things y'all not capable of doing. I don't care what the NFL thinks. I want to know what judges, juries, lawyers. I want to know what people who are qualified to handle this thing. I don't care what Roger thinks or how many games Roger thinks this is worth.
How dare you question the great white man and the great white man system and the great white man adjudicator on the plantation?
Roger just Like the NFL always just wants to look like they care, look like they have a moral compass, when the truth is, if this story never became public, even if they knew about it, it would be nothing. Like they wouldn't be thinking about putting anybody on any exempt list. He wouldn't be in danger of being suspended. Half the stuff that we get wind of months later, the NFL had already known about, like Ray Rice situation, all that kind of stuff. But once it becomes public or there's some kind of video, then, they need to appear as if they have a moral compass. But come on, man. Like you said, they're not qualified to do that. So I don't even understand why they're still trying to act and put on that facade as if they really care. Just let it play out.
Yeah, the Jonathan Martin Bullying Committee is going to be meeting sometime this week. Anytime they're going to have their first meeting. And then they're going to play them Chris Carter commercials again. Like, man, y'all chill out. Y'all not ready for all this. Leave it alone. And like y'all said earlier, we're going to wait for more information on this and see how it plays out. But no matter what, yeah, this dude's career is going to be damaged. But we always got to remember an accusation is not evidence, so we do have to wait. But if you're hiring this dude, I mean, hell, this is a problem, especially when you're the owner and you already don't want people thinking about sexual assault or sexual violations or anything when you had your little drama this summer. So this is going to be weird. The idea that he's still practicing, that sounds real Belichickian. And can we get rid of this Patriots myth of the high character locker room guys and that's why they win? No, they win because Bill's really good and a football genius, and because on the margins they take all kinds of risks. Why? Because that's where the profit is. So they get somebody who's been in trouble or on their last leg but talented, and they also figured out that the rest of the NFL believes in stereotypes, so they found the ultimate outlier in white wide receivers when nobody else valued them. They got them for dimes on the dollar, and, they stretched that. They stretched other people's racism into their benefit, which is a beautiful thing. I give them that one.
I hear all that, but I think he's guilty because Bull had a mustache with no beard and the little handlebars coming down. And in the movie, that dude was always guilty. Always. Yeah.
And then he dyed it blonde. Like, yo, what
and called
doing,
himself Mr. Big Chest.
After the Nino Brown
plateau. It might have been a chemical reaction.
Yeah, he did way too much, man. But, man, beyond that, dude, we'll see how this plays out. But the NFL this week, I guess we're seeing they're getting exactly what they wanted. Defensive players don't know what the hell they can and cannot do. Coverages are being blown everywhere. We're seeing bombs all over the league, like 50-yard or 60-yard. The poor Giants DBs still don't know who they were supposed to cover in that damn Dallas game, making Dak Prescott look like he's some kind of all-pro Hall of
Fame. I was about to say, you got any and every quarterback out here throwing for 350 and 4 touchdowns. It's a shame to try to be a defensive
really
player.
Football, man. But people think high scores means good, so they kind of confused on it. But, I ain't really got nothing else, man. I just wanted to say a little something about the AB and, your boy with the thing, man.
Let us ask you one thing before you go, man. Team USA. First, they were eliminated from medal contention by France, and then the very next day, they take an L to Serbia, and they, in the consolation game. So they can't finish any more than 7th place in the World Cup right now. What kind of panic do y'all see coming from, USA basketball? And
man, all of the panic is from the administrators, coaches, and everybody up top because they want to present this as if it's a real thing. All this is based on after 9/11 and all the patriotism surge where people were kind of bullied into participating in this stuff they really don't want to do and do all the Hulk Hogan Americana stuff. Man, they don't really want to do this, and we all know it. So, yes, they're going to lose. Keep putting your second-tier all-star teams together, go over there and lose. I don't care. I laugh when I see teams go over there and get beat by lesser people. When you get dominated by Whack Frank, whatever his name is, from New York, or we see the Carlos Arroyo tournament from a few years back, I laugh at that, man. I laugh at upset. But no,
I wonder if Dev's going to keep it real because he's been rooting against the USA for 20 years.
Yeah, I'm happy.
After 9/11, you would have got in trouble for that. After 9/11, boy, everybody had to be in lockstep, or you was unpatriotic. Now everybody's getting to be a little more free. So people, man, we're not really tripping on this, man. Like,
I just never liked that whole American attitude where they just, thought all we had to do was show up. So yeah, I take a little solace in, seeing them take that L. I mean, in this case, it's not really those guys' fault because I don't even know if anybody on that team was really supposed to be on that team. And Colangelo, he's out here sending out threats, but not really sending out threats. He's like, and this is a quote, he said, "I can only say you can't help but notice and remember who you thought were going to war with you and didn't show up. I'm a firm believer that you deal the cards you dealt. All we could have done, we did, and is get commitments from a lot of players. So with the kind of hand, you reasonably confident that you're going to be able to put a very good representative team on the court. No one have anticipated the pullouts that we had." So he's trying to make everybody feel guilty. That's what I was saying. The panic after this loss.
Little shell game. Right.
The panic after this, especially with the Olympics coming up, it's going to be crazy.
And I don't care if we lose in that either. Matter of fact, if you stack the team with the 12 best basketball players on the planet and you win and then you go act all excited, that's like when your little brother used to play Madden on All Pro. Like, oh, you beat All Pro. Oh, okay, that's nice. Like, nah, man, I don't care. It is what it is. All I know is if you get buckets from one of them dudes, you're going to get these memes and you're going to get these jokes. But besides that, man, whatever.
It's going to work, though, because I guarantee you they're going to get some people back for the Olympics. I personally think everybody, American basketball players take the Olympics way more seriously than any other international competition, where some of these people, this World Cup is even more important to them than the actual Olympics. But it's like the other way around. But a few guys are probably going to go.
Let's say something else, though. If you're doing load management league-wide and you have $120 million invested in somebody, are you telling me you really are interested in him playing in one of these international competitions? Like if you're ownership.
International competition? I don't even want the dude playing pickup ball at LA Fitness.
Right.
I'm like, man, you got to find another way to keep yourself sharp. I don't know. But,
yeah man.
Definitely don't want
him. I'm just not. I'm with you.
Cats would rather go run with Rico Hines than go overseas and play in these tournaments.
And then the other part is that there is no upside. If you win, you're supposed to win. When you lose, you catching all the L's.
You're embarrassed.
What is the upside?
National embarrassment.
Right. It's like, when you used to play a bum in one-on-one or something, some dude that had no game, and if they scored on you, you was catching hell from everybody. Why? Because you let them score. It is what it is. So, ain't no upside. You could get injured. What are we actually playing for?
And this
red, white,
this
blue, man, go get
tournament,
David Robinson, man. Ain't nobody living like that no more.
I take even more joy in this one because it had like 4 Celtics on it. So, as a Sixers fan, they had Light Mamba. If he was advertised, then there's no way they should lose with Light Mamba on the team. but all right, Brian, I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Hey, Brad Stevens is somewhere drawing up an inbounds play right now, calling himself a basketball genius. I hate the Celtics, and I love to see them fail. It's beautiful. Shout out to y'all, man.
No doubt.
All right, man. I'll let you next week.
Yeah.
Be awesome. Put me out there in my disdain for USA basketball.
Yo,
I didn't hate them when they sent college students, man, or college athletes.
Dev ain't rooted for USA basketball since Michael Jordan was on the Dream Team.
I ain't root for him then either. It was interesting to see, but I just knew then it's no use not rooting for him because ain't nobody going to touch this team. Kind of the same in, 2008. Like, that team wasn't going to touch. That was, like, the closest thing to the Dream Team we'd ever seen. Some of these dudes, they send these teams over there, they're a little bit vulnerable. And the gap between the U.S. and the rest of the world is not as big as the U.S. would like to think. So I always like to see him get humbled a little bit. Even if it's at the expense of some dudes I like Kimba and all them kind of cats. But it's definitely showing you tears of stardom. Because we just went through a summer where you tried to pay a lot of them dudes max contracts, and you realizing, like, there's levels to this.
Here's Donovan Mitchell is my man, and I was hopeful that he could take it over. But I'm going to tell you the honest truth. When I knew that they wasn't ish, Harrison Barnes was on the squad and getting off. I was like, they can't
everybody
win.
was on the squad because everybody decided not to play. I mean, they were down I'm telling you, one more round of pullouts called that, they were probably about to call us. Like, y'all in shape? When the last time y'all
bowled? My man Joe Harris barely makes rosters. He's on the squad.
Well, that's the 3-point king, man. All right, so shout out to those guys for taking that L, though. Colangelo is big mad right now, and it's funny to me. All right, so our quote of the week comes from your man with all the game in the world, but he's definitely Mr. Softy, Mr. Sensitive. Kevin Durant talking about OKC as a franchise, organization, a city, a crew, and a record label. He said, I'll never be attached to that city again because of that. He was talking about, let me rewind before I give you the quote. He was thinking about the Thunder jersey retirement night, and it might be pushed back a few more years. So he's actually salty about that. But he said, I'll never be attached to the city again. Wait a minute, I think I got that wrong. I'm reading a thread here where he's arguing with OKC fans on Twitter. So I don't know if that's the actual reason why he was mad, but he said, I'll never be attached to that city again. I eventually wanted to come back to that city and be a part of that community and organization, but I don't trust nobody there. That ish must have been fake, what they was doing. The organization, the GM, and I ain't talked to none of those people, even had a nice exchange with those people since I left. So for the past couple of days, there's been people going at him on Twitter because of these comments, and he's actually arguing with people. He's like responding to them. One dude said, this man KD, trade 5.
I hope you're ready.
One dude was like, this man just doesn't know when to leave it alone. OKC wasn't fake. You decided to leave them. Imagine you left a woman for her best friend and then the biatch because she still isn't nice to you afterwards. That's you right now. # grow up. Then Kevin Durant answers him, says, see, that's your problem, my G. You thought we were dating. LOL. That's creepy. Somebody else said, do you think you ever look back at all of this and think I probably could have handled my exit of OKC a little better? KD answers him, nothing I would have did would have pleased you. Stop. LMAO. Somebody else, this is the last one I'm going to read, says, you have the ability to shape your career. People will remember you how you want them to. Only thing you have given the fans so far is leaving your home to join another and complaining about the negativity that came with it. KD answers him, that's what you chose to look at because you, sir, are a hater. LOL. Why is he wasting his time? And what's up with KD?
Yo, I'm gonna go deeper than I probably should. Pause. Yo, this the real MVP's fault, and the fact that, yo, he ain't had no dad in this kid, man.
Yeah.
He ain't had no pop, man. Because, yo, he seeks approval and engages with people whose opinions have utterly no bearing, less than no bearing on his life. Like, I'm not saying that you as a star athlete are not a human being. I'm not saying that you can't listen to the media or the fans every now and again. Yo, family, he is engaged on social media to go back and forth with regular human beings that have no bearing on the tens of millions of dollars. I said tens, Jeff. I didn't say millions. I said tens of millions of dollars that he makes from playing basketball. These people have no.
Man,
Yo, I like candor. I like candor. I like honesty in athletes, but this is too much, man. This too much, man. He's out of pocket on so many levels, and I blame it on the fact that he ain't had no dad, man. Nah, man. Your father figure, your dad would not allow you to engage in this behavior if he was a staunch and Yo, I will pull my son by his ear, even at the age of 30, if he was engaging in shenanigans like this, going back and forth. At this point, I'm sure we've all figured out that there are actually people that troll him and know that he's going to respond a certain way. So why not just throw it out there because we're going to get a response? Because he a Richard head. He a sensitive Richard head. Like he's the underside after a spelacking. Like he's always like sensitive. Like, yo, come on, man. You got a great life, but get ready for a lot more of this as he sits around with a walking boot on, not playing basketball. Get ready for KD on Twitter and Instagram, fam. Get ready, because there's going to be more of this because he can't hoop. So this is what he's going to do, man. Play video games and talk on Twitter. He an itch with a B in the front. Big internet, chicken off.
Yeah, I just think KD he just has to leave it alone, man. He's the type, he's going to go on TV and tell you verbally that, he don't care what anybody thinks. He's going to play the tough guy, but it's obvious that he cares what anybody and everybody thinks. That ain't even real. Yeah, it's just weird to see him always going through something, with former clubs. I mean, he's had his words about Golden State as well, words that have been disputed by everybody else. He seems to never take accountability for his part in any of this. We know fans take things too far. You can't expect the fans in OKC to like you or to be happy with you after your exit. But at the same time, of course, you got idiots out there shooting bullets at his jersey and that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff could be scary. But at the same time, you've been in this long enough to know that you can't hold everybody accountable for the actions of a few idiots. You're going to get called names. You're going to get called cupcake. They're going to taunt you. They're going to tease you when you come back to town. But that's just all a part of, things they do. Some people will take things and make it way more serious than it has to be. And those are just the people to steer away from. But KD, he got to chill. Our stat of the week comes from NFL game, Lamar Jackson versus the Dolphins. He completed 17 of 20 passes, 85% completion rate, 324 yards, 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, for a perfect passer rating. I believe a perfect passer rating of 158.3. Now, Lamar Jackson, of course, he couldn't wait to have a game like this in the NFL, because the first thing he said to a reporter when asked about it, he was like, kind of good for a running back, because, people say he'd be better suited at another position. Great game by the youngster. I gotta hate when people do this, because everybody's an NFL player, everybody's an NFL team, but there has to be something in you where you think like, okay, you're showing that you have the potential to do something like this, but it was the Dolphins who seem to be in Sixers mode when it comes to their rebuild and their intentional need to not be a good team right now. So I'm not going to knock them just because of that, but I'm still in wait and see mode. Like, I'm not going to, be a defender of him and use the same kind of quotes that he used, like, oh, pretty good for a running back. We're going to see if you can. We don't even expect you to do that again, but we expect you to play at a higher level, especially if you're going to say things like that. Right now, it's showing prove time. So, shout out to the young man. What do you think? You think you'll ever see another game like this from Lamar Jackson?
No, not perfection, but I'm in wait and see mode for him because there are so many detractors. And I'm of the opinion, I make jokes, I crack jokes about the plight of the black quarterback, and I clown, and one could call me an Uncle Ruckus at times with the statements I make about black quarterbacks. But the one thing that I do acknowledge, we as a people are taught the position differently because of our athleticism at the rudimentary levels. Pop Warner, middle school, high school, these guys aren't taught to distribute and think. They're taught to make plays and run. And so it would be rewarding to see someone like Lamar be able to master the position, master his athleticism, take notes from a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who he's probably a better athlete than Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is a hell of an athlete, and people don't even remember Aaron Rodgers ran a 4.5 40. He pulls that out the bag when he needs to. And so I think if Lamar concentrates on being a great passer 4 to 6 years down the road from now, he may be something. Man, he might just be something. Watch Aaron Rodgers. Watch the boy Russell Wilson. Well, not just his moves on the field, but watch how he went from uncooked chicken to well done steak. Some of y'all get those bars. But yeah, man. So I don't know. Jury's still out for me. That game certainly doesn't prove that he has any great future in the NFL. He beat up on a Pop Warner team, which is cool. You can only play who's in front of you.
All right. So let's move on. Real quick, before we get into some other stuff, you can check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, make sure you take your time and look around. If you got any questions you want to ask us about doing business with us, being a part of the network, writing, podcasting, whatever, general inquiry, email us, info@warroomsports.com. Make sure you click on the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All Fair in Sports and War blog. Gus Griffin has a new piece about Antonio Brown on there, just posted today. So make sure you get to warroomsports.com and check that out. Then you can click the respective icons and tabs to follow all of our social media platforms. We're on all of them, including Christian Mingle and anything else you can think of. So if you want to get in on the conversation now, just join the JW Philly Realty chat room during the show, blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign up to your Facebook and Twitter accounts, but make sure you click follow. That'll get you updates and reminders about the show. All right, but if you want to call in and holler at us, the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline, that number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you already listen from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And Naj, we see you on the switchboard. I don't know if that's from earlier, but if you did want to get back in, then hang up and call back, and then we'll know that it wasn't, you're just not sitting there from earlier and you actually want to call back in. If not, just hang out. We're here. Why Y'all on the Grind is brought to you by Sports the Book. If you guys are tired of reading the same old sports books with the same old lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, all sorts of subjective information being passed off as facts, basically a snapshot of our Facebook page every day, well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. It's a mixture of sports and hip-hop culture to keep you on the edge of your seat and to keep you laughing like you're watching a comedy special. So just go to sportsthebook.com and get your copy from our website. at warroomsports.com. But whatever you do, just make sure you don't miss this movement. Clippers owner Steve Ballmer will invest $100 million into the city of Inglewood. Now, as you know, the Clippers' new arena is being built in Inglewood. But as a part of his plan to build a new arena in Inglewood, he's going to invest $100 million into the local community. The breakdown of that is there's going to be like $75 to $80 million slated to go towards affordable housing, about $12 million or so to go to youth programs, $6 million for improvements to the Inglewood Public Library, things of that nature. The arena is going to be an 18,500-seat arena, and it's going to anchor a 22-acre sports and entertainment complex that would include a corporate Clippers headquarters building, team training facility, sports medicine clinic, community courts, parking spaces, educational facilities, restaurants, and shops. Now, this sounds very familiar, but there is an actual plan being laid out. And shout out to Etan Thomas, another friend of the show. We haven't had the pleasure of having him on, but we have had the pleasure of, having a nice in-depth conversation with this brother at a sports and race conference back a few years ago. And he said something that made a lot of sense because it's exactly what I was thinking about when I heard this. I'm scrolling through to see if I can find what he said. All right, this is what Etan Thomas said. He said, "Attention, all NBA and NFL teams, this is how you do it. You don't trick the people into leaving their homes and displacing them by overpopulating the area with overpriced condos they can't afford and prop up a beloved hip-hop icon to convince the people that this new stadium will somehow benefit the entire community and advertise him as though he had a much bigger stake in the team than he actually did. You create initiatives like this to actually help the people in the community you'll be benefiting from. Of course, everyone has to follow up to make sure he keeps his word on these affordable housing units, but this is an quote-unquote actionable item." He's taking shots all over the place. "To combat gentrification that happens when new arenas are built. Hashtag Inglewood." So, if you're not following closely, a lot of the mentions, or lack thereof, the subliminal mentions, was about the whole Jay-Z situation with the Nets when they trotted Jay-Z out there as an owner of the team and had him tell the community that this arena was going to be good for the community, when in all actuality, a lot of people ultimately got moved out of the area because they could no longer afford to live in the units that were, springing up around the arena. Steve Ballmer, at least his words so far, he's taking a whole new direction, a whole different direction, where he's appreciating the people of the city that he's basically bringing the team to, and he's going to help them with affordable housing. He's going to put money into community activities. He's going to put money into the public library and things like that. So what are your thoughts, especially when you juxtapose this against what the Russian billionaire and the New York and the Brooklyn Nets, and along with help from Jay-Z, what they all did? What are your thoughts on this?
Difference in culture. Steve Ballmer comes from the California technology culture, which does, it's still rife with its entitled and privileged folks, but there is a little bit more consciousness amongst that crop of technology billionaires than other places and other industries. I don't even fault Sergey, and I'm saying that as if that's the name of the guy that formerly owned the Brooklyn Nets. Could have been something else. I apologize if I'm being stereotypical. But Sergey, I don't even fault him, because whoever put together the plan to operate the Nets, I feel as though he entrusted someone to do the right thing, and that person went ahead and did the right thing for the balance sheet, for the profitability of the franchise, but they weren't even in tune with or paying attention to things such as affordable housing or the disenfranchisement of local indigenous populations. They were just like, look, man, Brooklyn itself is changing. Either we're going to ride the wave or we're going to stand against it, which there's no reason for us to stand against it. Let's just get this little chicken-eating grease monkey to stand up and sell for us because he thinks he's wealthy. So we'll go ahead and hire him, and he comes from the old Brooklyn and is a bridge to the new Brooklyn because he understands how to hustle and assimilate and hustle. So that was that, and that was, and we have had plenty of conversations about who and what Sean Corey Carter is. He's a hustler, and he's going to always be that. He's going to always hustle. Steve Ballmer is not a hustler. Steve Ballmer is cognizant and conscious of what is going on in the country and the demographics. And I do think that, it was a play that we can salute and we can respect. Does it mean that, Steve Ballmer doesn't have some skeletons in the closet? Probably not. But I salute the fact that he comes from what appears to be a genuine place in wanting to make sure that the riches and wealth that he has invested in the Clippers, the LA Clippers, benefits the community at large as opposed to just a certain segment. It seems genuine, so I appreciate it and salute him for it.
Yeah. Then you always, I'm not saying this is not what was in his heart in the first place, but you always get to see other people's mistakes. You get to see the backlash from it, and you get to make a better decision in the long run. But whether that was the case or not, hey, you know what I'm saying? You still have to make a decision to do the right thing. And if he does what he's saying he's going to do in this situation, then kudos. Kudos to him. Shout out to Skyview in the chat room. He said rumors Kaepernick might get a run with Jacksonville. I will believe it when I see it, but we'll see.
Never.
All right, so in Philly fan news, Mike Scott, forward for the Philadelphia 76ers, actually got into a rumble with some Eagles fans at a tailgate prior to the Philadelphia Eagles-Washington professional football contest this past Sunday. Now, this was a crazy story. And before we even talk about it, well, let me tell the story first. Mike Scott, who is from the DMV area, he's from Virginia. He was all decked out in his Washington professional football team colors. He went on social media, took a photo, and said, "I'm on my way on the 4th and John." I believe that's like some popular tailgate in the city. So he was on his way down there. I think Mike went down there with the expectations, I'm a fan favorite for the Philadelphia 76ers, because they like his toughness. They think he fits the city. So if I go down here, even though I'm going to be decked out in Washington football gear, it might be some friendly ribbing or whatever, and everything's going to be peaceful and whatever. So he gets down there, and he notices that some people over there tailgating with a coffin, a big white coffin, real casket, with a Sean Taylor jersey draped over it. Now, I always tell people the whole Philly football fan or the Philly fan persona is way overblown, and the reasons that they overblow it are even sillier than the persona itself. However, stuff like this, like silliness. So he ends up going over there, as he's walking up, they're cursing at him, F the Redskins, this and that. He goes over there, and I think he, tells them how messed up this whole situation is with the coffin and the Sean Taylor jersey. He has on a Sean Taylor jersey himself. Words are exchanged. Some witnesses say that the N-word was thrown around. A couple of dudes tried to jump him. I saw a video where Mike Scott haymakered one of these dudes to the ground. Big brouhaha, whatever. Now, before anybody says anything, I'm going to put this disclaimer out here before I say what I'm going to say, because people are going to be like, oh, you defending these fans because you're from there, blah, blah, blah. Not doing that. And before I even give my thoughts, I'll let you know that I am 100% unequivocally on Mike Scott's side in this whole thing. The only thing that I would say, and that PC culture we live in, anything you say that could be taken as advice to the quote unquote victim, it's looked upon as victim blaming, victim shaming. If you are a fan of the opposite team, and I'm not just saying in Philly, I've been to 75% of NFL stadiums in this country, and I have never been to one and not seen at least 2 fights break out. You know what I'm saying? At whether it's the game, the tailgate, or whatever. So like I said, the media decides to emphasize and highlight what they want to, so they make it seem like it's worse in some places. I've seen people at other stadiums that had nothing to do with the Eagles get beaten to a bloody pulp. We've heard about what they do at the games out in California, Dodgers games, Giants games, or people getting beat within an inch of their lives. But in this situation, if I'm giving advice to Mike Scott here or anywhere else, if you are wearing opposing teams' paraphernalia and you run across some people, forget fans, you run across people who are ignorant enough and determined enough to lug a casket down to a damn tailgate and actually put a dead football player's jersey over it before a sports contest, then maybe those aren't the people that you need to even interact with. Even if, what I'm saying, I think he was walking around thinking, I'm a Sixer, so, everything is cool. Mike, also what you don't understand is football is king in that town. And not every Eagles fan like basketball. And from what I heard also from eyewitness accounts, they had no clue who this dude was. He's just a big dude in Washington gear coming over there, interrupting their tailgate. Like I said,
don't nobody know who Mike Scott is.
Talk a little bit of trash with some normal-looking fans, some dudes who are barbecuing and throwing a football around and drinking a couple of beers. Cool. But why would you, Mike? Why would I? Why would B? Why would anybody feel that if you run into some people who are dark and ignorant enough to drag a casket to a football game and drape it with the jersey of a dead football player, why do you think anything reasonable will come from interacting with them? That's my only advice or my only question that I would ask to Mike Scott. Leave those people alone, man, because those are people who are trying to live up to this bogus, reputation that they have as fans. Would you have talked to those people, B? Like,
no,
it's not.
I wouldn't even have talked to them. I wouldn't even have talked to them as an Eagles fan. Like, seeing them do that is very distasteful.
Right. I actually said that earlier. Be like, even if I was wearing all Eagles gear, I'm not interacting with those people.
Yeah.
So we roll up to FedEx Field and we walk past a tailgate where they got a coffin out with Reggie White's jersey on it. Like, I'm gonna keep it moving. I got a life to get back to at home. These people are trying too hard. But go ahead, my bad. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good. You are saying that my absolute point, right? I'm not engaging with any of them, even if they were. If the situation was we were there, and we're Eagles fans, they're Eagles fans. But not all Eagles fans are created equal. They're obviously from a different cloth. You shouldn't engage. So, Mike, was he wrong? Not really, but you got to be smarter than that. You got to be smarter than that. you also have to realize that you're not really a celebrity. Like, we know you because basketball is our thing. But them Italian and Irishmen in Philly that aren't into the Sixers, they don't know who Mike Scott is. They don't even know who Tobias Harris is, and Tobias Harris got more money than the city. They don't know y'all.
Got more money than the Sixers. Yeah. That was just a weird situation, man. He just, like I said, I'm 100% on his side. But some people you got to know. I mean, I know you 6'8", 6'9", and you probably beat everybody over there. It's just not worth it. And like I said, I don't even think he knew that it would turn into that because he's probably banking on the fact, I'll play for the basketball team. Dude, some of these Flyers fans, these Eagles fans, they don't know what a basketball is. So they don't recognize you. It's not like you're, Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons. They might know them guys just because they're on the news every day, even if they're not basketball fans. But Mike, you're a fan favorite.
The last time Mike,
he's a fan favorite for Sixers diehards. See, that's what he has to get straight in this city. You're a fan favorite, but that's inside the Wells Fargo Center. Outside of that, not a lot of people know you in the city.
Yo, the last time Mike Scott was on the news, he was facing a felony and a drug count. Like, he's not even on the news like that. Like, come on, man. You got to be smarter than that. Come on, Mike.
Oh, man. All right. This is good news. A California State Assembly unanimously passes a bill to allow college athletes to profit from endorsements. Now, we talked about this before it went to vote, but the vote was a positive one. Like I said, unanimously voted on. So it's called the Fair Pay to Play Act, and it would allow college athletes in California to sign endorsement deals, earn compensation based on the usage of their name, image, and likeness, and sign all types of licensing contracts that would allow them to earn money. Now, all the years, the 10 years, that we've been on the air discussing, whether collegiate athletes should be paid and all that kind of stuff, and trying to get people to come up with, some kind of plan rather than just saying, yeah, they should be paid. This was one thing that I had always stuck by, because I didn't really see a way for you to just flat out pay for play, but I always felt strongly that these dudes should be able to benefit from their own likeness. Like, don't suspend a dude because he went out and got some people to pay for his autograph. You put him on a video game, let him get some residuals from that. People walking around, leaving the school bookstore with this person's jersey on, he should get a piece of that, or he or she should get a piece of that. So I've always been down with this. Like, you should be able to profit off your own likeness. Now, the thing is, this is a California thing. They said back in May, I don't know, when we first talked about it in May, they had voted 31-5 in favor of the pass the bill. But it's been amended since then. So, it went back it's going to go back soon for a vote in the Senate where it's also expected to pass. So we'll see. We'll see. It's been picking up steam. LeBron James has taken it, and he's been promoting it. I saw a tweet from him. He was saying, everyone in California, call your politicians. Everyone in California, call your politicians. Tell them to support SB 206. This law is a game changer. College athletes can responsibly get paid for what they do and the billions they create. So, LeBron has always been a proponent, being somebody who skipped college altogether. He's jumped on board.
As we all age, I will admit, I gain more appreciation for LeBron, man. I really do. I salute him. I still think a lot of what he does is contrived, and he's consciously aware.
LeBron knows how and what he has to do to be on the right side of history. So,
right. But
and he's big enough to do it.
I don't question his genuineness, though. I really believe he believes a lot of what now. That doesn't absolve him of robbing my league of competitive greatness, because he's still I don't want to do the hard way, I need you on my team type of dude, and that's corny. But outside of that, particularly away from the game, he's a pretty thorough cat.
Yeah.
Pretty thorough cat.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, some quick birthday shout-outs before we give our NFL picks for this week. Shout-out. Yao Ming turns 39 years old. Yao just 39? Yao been out of the league so long. You just think Yao old as hell. But, his career was cut short.
Retired for 20 years.
This is a blast from the past. Terry DeHare is 48 years old. Terry DeHare was
I don't know how Terry DeHare only 48. Feel like he should be 60.
I know. That's make me feel kind of old because I thought I was a kid watching Terry DeHare, but I wasn't that much younger than him. I'm salty. Shout out to Mad Max. Vernon Maxwell turns 54 years old. Ricky Rudd is 63 years old, and we like to give a rest in peace shout out to Jesse Owens, who was born September 12th, 1913. He died March 31st, 1980. So we give a big roaring salute to all of these folks on their birthday, and everybody out there who celebrated a birthday this week. Definitely got to give a birthday shout out to the missus who celebrated her 27th birthday back on Monday, September 9th. So happy 27th birthday, baby. All right, so those are your birthday shout outs.
My birthday, yay!
And this quick NFL wrap, our picks brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom websites, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And yes, financing options are available. So visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them that War Room Sports sent ya. All right, man. Before we do our picks, man, I got to let you know that the Jets quarterback Sam Darnold will be out indefinitely with mono.
Yo, stop kissing them girls in New York, man.
All right, excuse my ignorance, because I've heard of mono. I know that mono has, it's like called the kissing disease or whatever it's called, whatever its nickname. But what the hell exactly is mono that it could take you away from activities for maybe some weeks? They're thinking he could be out for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. It's an infection. It's a bacteria that is extremely hard to treat, and while it's in your body, you lose weight, you lose muscle mass. You're always tired. Tired, and
that's what I was wondering. People always talk about kissing, so I'm like, all right, well, is it just gonna be like a sore, like you got herpes or something, like? But you don't sit out 5-6 weeks because you got herpes, so something must be something more to mono.
Ron Mexico was running with herpes. Never mind.
This seems like a real question, man. Do black people get mono? Because I ain't never heard somebody like, yo, man, I got mono.
We just don't admit it, probably. I think what's wrong?
So when dudes acting like they just sleeping a lot, they might have mono. Sorry, man, I don't feel like. I'm gonna just start thinking everybody got mono.
The Lawrence Phillips.
All right, I don't want to spend too much time on mono. I'm gonna do these picks. I see the homie Rob on the line, man. Rob, you be calling too late, dude. We're at the end of the show. All right, we're gonna make this real quick. I know you're probably mad at us. Rob, what's going on? Rob calling from Cali. Yo, it's got to be a quick call, 30 seconds, because we got to make our picks and we got to be out. But you got to call earlier, dog. All right?
All right, my fault, man. And by the way, man, I never had mine on, man, because the yams stay clean all day. That's what I gotta say, man. Yo.
What's up, man? Hurry up, man. Hurry up.
Never go downstairs. But yeah, man, with the Eagles, I want to ask D. Austin, what approach does the defense? No, B. I want to be asking D. Austin about a football question and ask Dev a basketball question. D. Austin, what does the Eagles need to do? Approach they need to take as far as the pass rush and the defensive backs playing better? And two, I want to ask Dev a basketball question. What type of offense is going to best suit LeBron and AD? No, actually really suit AD and LeBron. So AD can do his thing, LeBron can do his thing. Is it going to be a pick and roll? Will LeBron give some of his shares up so AD can go in the post a little bit more because that stupid freaking coach he had stopped him playing post and stopped him playing the perimeter. You know, right. I don't think Frank is a defensive coach, so I don't think he'll go that far. But yeah, that's my questions. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.
Go ahead, B. All right, man. Yeah, we'll answer that. Go ahead, B. Hurry up.
Yo, I don't know what we need to do other than gel because there's such a limitation on starters playing in the preseason. I fully expect it to take 4 games for our defense to catch up. Defense is always behind offense. Our secondary just not that good, man. So the pass rush is going to have to get home so that our secondary doesn't get exposed. Brother Malcolm is great, but he's getting up in age. Darby is as Darby does, Upper Darby. He cool, but yeah, we need time to gel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because they look better in the second half. They didn't get destroyed like that in the second half. But if the defensive line isn't going to get pressure like they're used to with 4 people, then Schwartz going to have to think about blitzing more. But as far as the Lakers LeBron question, first of all, we know LeBron is going to be handling the ball. He's going to be handling the point guard duties. Hey, I think a pick and roll offense with LeBron and AD would be unstoppable, but that doesn't seem like what people like to do these days. So I don't really see them in a ton of pick and roll action. Usually LeBron likes to run like a 1-4 set.
Yo, LeBron hates the pick and roll.
Yeah, people just going to have to stand on the side and, eat off of his penetration. But AD is the most talented player he's ever played with, so there's going to have to be some concessions made. And I don't mean give up the ball so AD can dribble. You just have to get him in better places where he can score. 1 being the post, 2 being pick and roll situations. LeBron's just going to have to play a different style than, he's used to playing. And of course, we're out of time. We'll just do this rapid fire. Vikings, Packers. Who you
got? Vikings.
I think I'm gonna take the Packers at Lambeau. Seahawks at Steelers. Did the Steelers get off the deck after getting embarrassed?
Seahawks.
I'll take the Steelers. Chiefs at Raiders.
Chiefs by 1 million.
Chiefs here as well. Saints at Rams, NFC Championship rematch.
Saints, don't disrespect Drew Brees.
I think the Saints have a super chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to win that too. Eagles at Falcons Sunday night.
Eagles.
I will take the Birds in that one as well. I said the Birds. You don't know which one I'm talking about. It's like, no, I'm going to take the Eagles as well. And the Monday night tilt, Browns at Jets. I'm going to go ahead and take the Browns. After they got embarrassed, the Jets are without their mono-having quarterback. Trevor Siemian is going to be the replacement. So I got the Browns getting off the schneid and giving the Jets what they need on Monday.
I'm going with the Jets. I'm rooting for the Jets. Too much hype around the Browns. They are the Browns. So,
all right.
Le'Veon, come on.
Thank you brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everyone in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, War Room Sports, Game Time on the GroupMe app, and all the callers who called in to holler at us. Special thanks to Gus Griffin and Fred Perdue for contributing to this episode as well. Tune in next week, live right here or on demand, as we review NFL Week 2 and preview Week 3 and catch you up on everything happening around the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the start of next week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook, Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up a copy of Jimmy's book at sportsthebook.com or warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? We better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Doc Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jock. I'll be coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.